We're going to go to Genesis chapter 50. I'm going to read into your hearing verses 15 through 21. Genesis chapter 50, starting at verse number 15. When Joseph's brothers saw that their father was dead, they said, "Perhaps Joseph will hate us and may actually repay us for the evil which we did to him." So they sent messengers to Joseph saying, "Before your father died, he commanded, saying, 'Thus you shall say to Joseph, I beg you, please forgive the trespass of your brothers and their sin, for they did evil to you. Now please forgive their trespass of the servants of the God of your father,'" about to call him God of the Most High because he is, "of the God of your father." And Joseph wept when they spoke to him. Then his brothers also went and fell down before his face, and they said, "Behold, we are your servants." Verse 20 says this. We have verse 20. Verse 20 says this, "But as for you, you meant evil against me." Somebody say, "But God meant it for good, in order to bring about as it is this day, to save many people alive. Now therefore, do not be afraid. I will provide for you and your little ones." And he comforted them and spoke kindly to them. You can take your seats. Let's start here. Transition is a sensitive trigger. I said transition is a sensitive trigger. Certain transition address present bereavement, which is accepted, expected, and understood. We understood when there's transition, this is the patriarch of the family who has now transitioned, and there are certain sensitivities that can be expected and accepted, right? Nobody's going to be upset about somebody losing their father, especially if we're their siblings and they're having their own bereavement, their own grief, their own mourning process to deal with, right? So that's to be accepted, expected, understood. Certain transitions recall connected experience. I'm saying connected experiences for a reason, because watch this, we could be in the same room and have different experiences. We can know the same person, have the same relationship with that person, but have entirely different experiences. And sometimes even I have to check myself, because my brother or my sister will say something concerning my parents, and I'll be like, "What house y'all was raised in?" And not because they're necessarily wrong, but because they're thinking differently than I think. They see it differently than I see it. Are you hearing what I'm saying so far? So certain transitions recall connected experiences, whether beneficial or detrimental. Certain transitions incite underlying contentions, whether internal and or external. Sometimes you don't even know the stuff that was really unresolved in yourself until somebody is transitioned. Listen close, because this one might hit hard. Sometimes peace is kept by the posts of others. Whoo! I said sometimes peace is kept by the posts of others. We saw this with Joseph. When Joseph transitions, there came a Pharaoh that didn't know Joseph, and then what was peaceful all of a sudden became a problem. And now we're getting a sense of this. We're getting a sense of this with Joseph's brothers, because now that their father has passed, they know that there's some unresolved issues. Watch this. They think that there's unresolved issues with Joseph, but it's really unresolved issues with them.
Come on, sir.
It's what they know they did. And now they're like, "Man, we know what they did, and now that dad is gone, now that father's no longer here, I don't know if Joseph is going to look at us the same way, because when he saw us, he had to look at father, but now father ain't here, so now he only sees us. And he may deal with us differently now that father's gone." How many of us have experienced this in our life? When somebody passed, all of a sudden other people start acting funny. You want to see people start acting funny? Let somebody transition. Especially, let's be honest with it, especially if it's some money involved. Or they think money's involved. Because some folks be like, well, I remember when my grandfather passed, he was like, oh, he didn't have the money that they thought that he had. And a lot of people don't understand when people get older, whatever have you, and they're not bringing in income. I'm going on a tangent, but I'm going to come back. When they're older and they're going through things, somebody got to pay them bills. Somebody got to pay them bills. And watch this. It be the caretaker that's not only utilizing some of their money, but some of their own money that's taking care of them. And you sit up here waiting for the person to die so you can collect your check. I said what I said. Sorry. Let me not get amped up in here. But when folks transition, people start acting funny sometimes. And now these brothers, to get back to the text, what's happened is these brothers now be like, Joseph might actually look for, watch this, repayment. Joseph might come looking for his check because of what we did to him. And the Father's not here to help us anymore. How is Joseph going to act? How is Joseph going to behave? And so get this, healed people can help people even when hurt by them. See, I want to put that extension on them because we've heard healed people, but healed people can help heal people even when they've been hurt by them. Don't miss this, real healing works with recovery. See, sometimes when there's injury, we want to go into surgery so that we can go back and be fully restored. But how many know sometimes when you go through a surgery, sometimes there's a recovery period? Hello, somebody. I say sometimes there's a recovery period, and you got to let your body adjust to what's happened because watch here, whatever was wrong might have been removed, but now you have to get used to what's been removed because you've been carrying what was not supposed to be there for so long that when it's been removed, now you be like, God, I know it's been removed. I know it was something that was supposed to be removed, but why does it hurt like this? It wasn't supposed to be in me in the first place. Or even if it was, maybe it had become tumorous or cancerous or whatever the issue was, it had become infected. And some of the things that we've carried with us have brought about infection in our body. I'm talking. And so it's like it's infected me, and now it's got to be removed. And now you've gone through a successful procedure, and it's been removed, but now you try and move like it hasn't been removed. And some of us have tried to move in life and ministry as though things haven't been removed. I recall at Gilgal when the whole tribe got circumcised, and they couldn't move until they all were healed. And they stood still until they were healed. And some of us need to really hear that message and stay still until you're healed. Are you hearing what I'm saying? But real healing works with recovery. Truth be told, some of our headway is hindered by hurt we haven't healed from. We can't go no further because we haven't healed from the hurt yet. This can be, watch this, this can be from the seat of the recipient or the seat of the culprit. And a lot of times we look at it from the recipient seat. The recipient seat, I've been hurt and now I got to get, sometimes it's the culprit. What happens when you're the one that caused the hurt? I know you ain't nobody at no time ever, so maybe I ain't talking to you this message, but if you have hurt somebody, intentional or not, you did it. But how are you going to work knowing the harm that you caused? How are you going to go ahead knowing the harm that you've caused? And this is the brother's issue because they're trying to figure out how they're going to go ahead knowing the harm that they've caused. Sometimes we're still holding what those we've wronged have already healed from. This is Joseph's brother's plight. This is like Joseph's brothers, right? We're holding what those who wrong have already healed from. This is what's really going on in here. Some of us only look at what happened to Joseph and instead of looking at the situation that the brothers have been, because sometimes you've done things that you didn't realize the repercussions of. Because watch this, what happened years ago. None of them were as mature as they are now. God help my soul. I said none of them, Joseph included, is not as mature as they were when it happened. Because immaturity will make you do irrational things.
Come on, sir.
I'm talking to grown folks, I'm talking to spirit-led folks. I'm talking immaturity will make you do irrational and things that just don't make any kind of sense. You will be erratic when you're immature. You'll be emotional when you're insecure. You'll be unstable when you're immature. So who knows what situation they were in? Obviously, they were in a mindset of jealousy. That is not up for debate. They were jealous because of the favor on Joseph's life. And they tried to strip him of his favor, but favor can't be removed off you. God help my soul. I said they try to strip the favor off of Joseph, but favor can't be removed from your body. Somebody say favor can't be removed from my body. You can strip me naked and I'll still have favor. God help my soul. You can strip me naked and I'll still have favor on my life. You can think you take everything from me. You think, oh Lord. It ain't even a setup for a comeback. It ain't even a setup for a comeback. This was always a part of the plan. Oh, God help me. Make no mistake, we can't heal and hold a grudge. Can't do it. You cannot heal and hold a grudge. Either you hold a grudge or you be healed. We can't heal, watch this, we can't heal and hunt for repayment and revenge. And some of us ain't healed because we still on the hunt. How I'm going to get them back. How I'm going to set them up to get them back. They know what they did to me. You don't know. Y'all know us. Come on. Come on. Come on. You didn't go through what I've been through. They didn't put you down like they put me down. They didn't sell you out like they sold me out. You don't know. Come on now. You don't know what they did to me. No, we don't know, but I know what you should do about it. I know what you should do about it. You ought to go to work. Woo. We can't heal and hunt for repayment and revenge. Watch this. Joseph decided to review what happened to him through a different lens. Watch this. It's not like he forgot what happened. Nobody in here is telling you to forget what happened. I'm not telling you to forget what happened. Because a lot of people be like, get over it. Sometimes it's not about getting over it. It's getting on with it. And some of us are stuck because we just won't get on it. We won't get on with it. We'll just stay stuck on what happened. They did me wrong. Yeah, they did. They treated me like trash. Yeah, they did. They sold me out. Yep, that happened. Sure did. When you're discounting, I'm not discounting anything. I'm saying fix your lenses. Catch the lesson. Don't use your position of providence now to punish those who've hurt you in the past. And a lot of times because we came up, God delivered me out that situation, and now I'm sitting in the place where I should be. I'm in the palace that was predestined for me. And some of us will use that seat to punish others. Watch this. It's not always to do something to them. Sometimes we try and punish folks with our absence. Y'all don't want to say nothing. Oh, you ain't heard this preached like this before. I say sometimes we try to punish folks with our absence. I'm just not going to be there for you no more because of what you did to me. Yeah, it hit different, don't it? I'm just not going to be there. I ain't going to do nothing to you. I ain't going to send nobody after you, but I'll tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to be there. I know that you're going through famine right now, and I know I got all the provisions to help you, but you know what? You shouldn't have treated me like that. If you would have known who you were dealing with, you would have treated me differently. I didn't know who I was dealing with. I was immature. Can you forgive a brother? Or you won't reconcile, but you don't want to work it. We won't reconcile. Let me ask the saved folks a question. Do you want reconciliation? Why aren't we working it? Oh, we want that reconcile. Because see, when we hear this kind of message, we want to, well, God, what you meant for evil, that's the part that we go crazy on. God meant for my good, but what would you do in that situation? Because we like to focus on the good, right? God meant for my good, but we don't read that next verse. Oh, come on now. We read the one verse, but we don't read the next verse. See, I like the next verse. I know why God did it. Oh, you hear what I'm saying? But you can only have that perspective sometimes when you're in that position. Woo. Are you with me so far? Sometimes we got to, no, not sometimes, but we got to get beyond their wrongs and get to work. Look at somebody, say, get to work. Let's go further. Reconciliation possesses healing power. Let me say it again. Reconciliation possesses healing power. The truth is, healed people can help people heal. Here's a question. Are we fit for reconciliation? Yeah. Are we fit for reconciliation? Follow me here. I know some of us will be able to follow this on a whole nother level. Follow me here with this one. In the service, also known as the military. In the service, we can't remain on light duty and remain fully enlisted. Can't do it. Can't do it. After so long, the more injured you are and you can't recover and or won't recover. Now they start looking down, they start drafting separation papers because you can't serve fully enlisted and remain injured. And some of us are trying, and some of us are trying to remain in the service still injured. I don't even want, let me stay on task here. I say we can't remain on light duty and remain fully enlisted. Stay with me in this service, otherwise known as ministry. We can't endure as victims, wallowing in injury and lingering in idleness. And this is what happens. We start wallowing in our injury. Look what they did to me. The church hurt me. My church hurt me. And this hurt me. And my brother hurt me. That's how a child sound when they cry. They can't even get words out. And that's how we sound. I know I sound reflected up here, and that's how some of us sound too. What you said that child? I saw that fuss. You don't know what they did to me. I'm not discounting what hurt. I'm not discounting that it happened. Don't get this twisted. I'm just saying that at what point are you gonna heal? At what point are you going to heal? What happens if you never get the apology? What happens if they should perish before you get reconciliation? Is your healing going to die with them? I got a question. I wonder, did the brothers think that their healing died with their father? I'm talking to family, okay. Talking to tribes, okay. Talking to churches, okay. We can't endure as victims, wallowing in injury and lingering in idleness. Consider this. Some of us are still injured because we're yet undelivered. That's way more weighty than they're going to say amen to. I said some of us are still injured because we're yet undelivered. Oh, no. It's not that God didn't save you. It's that you didn't save his saving grace. We haven't received the fullness of our salvation. And sometimes we even have to do what David did, restore to me the joy of my salvation. So you can't act like you lose certain components of this thing. It's not that some of us have forgotten that we're saved. It's forgot that he forgave us. God help me. He forgave us too. Watch this. He got past all the ills of our past. Watch this. And he never wronged us. And we've constantly wronged him. But then when it comes time for us to work reconciliation, you don't know what they did. Grow up. And oh, that's too harsh. When are you going to heal? If you ever going to walk on that injury again, you're going to have to put some weight on it, baby. You're going to have to work that muscle. I know it's a little tight right now, but you're going to have to work that muscle. It ain't going to be comfortable. But the thing about injury, if it heals correctly, a lot of times it's stronger than it ever was previously. You didn't know you had that muscle until it was injured. You didn't even know you were that resilient until you had to recover. Are you hearing the word of the Lord? Some of us, here's the other part, some of us are just unwilling to serve. That's not ministry. That's malingering. I knew you'd get it. That's not ministry. I'll explain it. That ain't ministry. That's malingering. Do you know what malingering is? Malingering is just sitting around acting as if you're yet injured, when truth be told, you're not. And it's not that we haven't been injured, it's that we're still using injury to excuse our idleness. Wow. Because you don't know what they did to me. You weren't there. No, I wasn't there at the cross either. I wasn't on it. Are you hearing what I'm saying? But if the first thing out of an innocent man's mouth is, Father, forgive them, I'll be crazy being someone who isn't innocent to not forgive those who have trespassed against me, to forgive those who have sinned against me, to them who have done evil. The text says evil. And sometimes we have to, see, it's easy sometimes to forgive people for injury. It's difficult to forgive them for evil. Because evil is intentional. They were intentional. They reworked their plot a little bit. Because at first they were going to kill him. You better praise God that God didn't let them go through with their plans. I said, you better praise God that he didn't let them go through with their initial plans, because their initial plans were to kill him. Reuben was like, hold on, wait a minute. That's a little far. That's a little much. Fast forward, then they start thinking about it. Okay. Well, instead of him just dying and us not profiting from it, let's profit from his demise. Let's profit from his disposition. Let's profit for his exodus. Thank you, Holy Ghost. Let us profit from his mistreatment. You know why some folks mistreated you? It was worth it to them. And even though it was worth it to them, you better get ready to work forgiveness. Because it's real easy to talk about them folks and then, be free of them. I left them or whatever have you. Joseph has every reason to not even look at his brothers. He didn't even have to tell his brothers who he was the first time. I know he went through a little bit because, we like to act like he just forgave him and kept it moving. Nah, that ain't how it happened. That ain't how it happened. You're like, look, let me put some stuff in their stuff. You know what I mean? I can't arrest them, but let me put something on them so that I can. I know you ain't just received my hospitality and trying to walk out of here with something I ain't. Y'all ain't like Joseph ain't do that part. So Joseph, he wasn't perfect in this thing, okay now? Okay? I don't want to paint that picture like, oh, Joseph. No. Joseph had issues too. But he didn't let his issues keep him injured. Somebody say, don't let your issues keep you injured. I've had issues. Anybody in the room not had issues? Watch this. I've had issues with loved ones that have done me wrong. Flip that. I've had issues with loved ones I've done wrong. We always want to be the recipients. We never want to admit that we were the culprits. Ain't no saved people culprits. I'm convinced. We ain't never done nothing wrong, so everything that happened to us is just that that's the enemy. No, that's a harvest. Some of this stuff ain't the enemy. Some of this stuff is a harvest. You just reaping what you sowed. I'm just with your holy self. We don't. We always want to be the hero. We ain't never been the villain. Some of us won't even admit we were the villain when we were unsaved. We think we John the Baptist. We were shouting in the womb. Dun, dun. We heard Jesus, then we, hey! As soon as we were baptized, as soon as we broke water, we started baptizing people. Oh, in the name of, you couldn't even talk and you was already speaking in tongues? That was just baby talk. Da, 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 da. That ain't tongues, that's baby talk. Anywho, I'm saying what I'm saying. Don't get in your feelings. Hear the word. That's not ministry. That's malingering. We have a term for that in the military. We call it unsat. Unsatisfactory. You unsat. Especially drill instructors love to use that one. Look down, you unsat. You ain't fit to be called no Marine recruit. That's one of the things you can do some stuff and they'll let you get over it. But boy, being a malingerer, people look at you crazy like, now come on now. All of us that had to go through some stuff. I'll tell you a quick side story. I had got plantar fasciitis, which is an infection that you get on your foot or whatever have you. I could not walk and put full pressure on my foot without pain, but it happened right before a long march. It was a 10-mile march, and I knew that I went to. This is how much I was focused on trying to be who I thought I should be. I was in pain. It hurt to put pressure on my right foot. So in order to walk, I had to walk on my forefoot. Because if I put full pressure on my foot, the arch of my foot would be thriving in pain. And even though I knew I was injured, watch this. I knew I was injured. I was like, I got to make it through this march first. I got to make it through this march first because I don't even want them to look at me as a malingerer. Truth be told, I should have went ahead and got it fixed because it's still a problem. I should have got it fixed, and then on the next go-round, I would have been able to march. But the mindset was, because it happened right before something major happened, I don't want them looking at me differently because I value how I'm perceived. Not by people, by me. And some of us are trying to look a certain way so that people can look at us a certain way. How do you serve when you're looking at God, but like, God, I don't mind how they're looking at me, but how are you looking at me? Because truth be told, if Yeshua was only worried about what people thought, he might have packed up he might have kicked that cross down and be like, these people sleep on me anyway. These people ain't grateful anyway, but you know what? I'm not looking at it how they are. I got a different lens. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Yeah. Consider this, if Joseph hadn't recovered from what happened to him, he couldn't reconcile with his brothers. He wouldn't be able to provide for them and their families. Truth be told, forgiveness facilitates a future where all sides can flourish. Let me say that again. Forgiveness facilitates a future where all sides can flourish. So a lot of times we want to do forgiveness because that releases us. Truth be told, it releases both of us. Truth be told, it releases all of us. It doesn't matter how many did you wrong, forgive them all. Watch this. Joseph can truly say, everybody turned on me. All my brothers, he can say this. All my brothers, no, not all, let's say Benjamin, right? Benjamin was too young. And you know how we make stuff up in our head. If he would have been older, he would have been with him too. He wasn't. We know who did turn on you. All of them. Ain't that how we talk? Come on, every time something disgusting, your whole voice, all of them. Really? And watch this. What if it was all of them? Forgive them all. If it was everybody, forgive them. And not just for your release, for theirs too. That's a different level of forgiveness right there. Oh, God, help me. Don't miss this. Forgiveness can shift generations. I said, come on. I said forgiveness can shift generations. If Joseph couldn't forgive his brothers, they might have been starved out in the promised land. But forgiveness shifts generations. The reason why we can't move ourselves and we can't move as a tribe, we can't move as a family, we can't move as a community, we can't move as a congregation is because there's unforgiveness lingering, festering. It's just sitting there. Cancerous, it's spreading. And here we are. I'm not going to do nothing to them. But I sure ain't going to help them. Let them see what life is without me for real. Boy, I'm aggravating somebody's whole soul right now. Wait till they see how life is without me. They in the promised land. Well, stay over there then. Come on now. Y'all ain't want me in the promised land. I ain't even there. I'm in the palace. Hey. Y'all still out there keeping sheep. I'm up here second in command. Who? Pharaoh ain't even watching anything. He over there playing with Nefertiti them. I put that part in there. Don't you go in your Bible looking for that. But I'm the man around here. King Kong. Let me stop. Forgiveness can shift generations. This speaks to the familial, the tribal, congregational, and communal relationships. This is so led because we don't understand that we haven't been able to progress simply because we're withholding. Why can't we move? Why do we got people that's not even being taken care of simply because we choose to punish them with our absence, knowing that God provided for you? But they put me in this situation. You are without excuse, old man. Take it up with the text. Let's go here. Healing can be realized by the revelation of purpose. Healing can be realized by the revelation of purpose. Verse 20 says this, but as for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good in order to bring it about as it is to this day, to save many people alive. Hear me by the Spirit. Reconciliation and salvation work together. I said reconciliation and salvation work together. Somebody say for good. Get this, perspective directs posture. Perspective directs posture. Is it the lens of what they put us through or the lens of our purpose? Which one is it? Which lens are you looking through? Are you looking through the lens of what they put you through? Or are you looking through the lens of purpose? Malfunction and malpractice are often due to erroneous focus. You're just not looking at it the right way. I'm not trying to say it didn't happen to you. I'm saying, how are you looking at it now? Say, it happened, but now what? I can never progress in my past. I mean, I want to get deep and tell you something. You can't progress. Watch this. You can't progress in your past, nor its mindset, nor its perspective. Because sometimes the perspective of our past, we can only see what happened to us instead of what's happening to us. Sometimes, if we be honest, we're frustrated about what's in front of us because we aren't focused on what the Father has for us. It could have been real easy for Joseph to not eventually see what the Father had for him. Because remember, God gave him a preview without giving him the middle part. And sometimes we've seen the promise without the pitfalls. And we feel forsaken by God because we know what God showed us. I know what you showed me, but I'm not seeing that, and I'm frustrated about what I see because I've forgotten what you have for me. I'm here to tell somebody everything that God showed you, you will realize in your lifetime. I said everything God showed you, not the stuff you dreamt up yourself, but everything that God has shown you, you will see in your lifetime. Are you hearing what I'm saying? But sometimes it's difficult for us to see it because we're looking at what's in front of us. I wonder how difficult it was for Joseph to see what the Father had for him when he was facing the pit. How difficult was it for him to remember and focus on what the Father had for him when he was facing Potiphar's house? How difficult was it for Joseph to focus on what the Father had for him when he was in prison after serving well? I was put into a position, and even though I was put into a position, I didn't pout about it. Because I'm a keeper everywhere I go. Anyway, but I was a keeper when you put me in the pit. I was a keeper when you put me in Potiphar's house. What did I do in Potiphar's house? I kept it. I was a keeper when you put me in a prison, baby. Ain't nothing changed about me. I am who I am. Once again, you can't strip the favor off my life. Because I have favor in places other people consider forsaken. He had favor in a forsaken place called prison. He was forgotten about. Don't tell me he wasn't. Remember when he saved the one guy, he basically saved his life. And though he saved his life, he forgot. It's some people that you done help. You done watch this. You help them keep their head, and they forgot about you. And truth be told, they didn't remember you until they needed you again. Let's tell the whole truth. Let's tell the whole truth. Let's tell the whole truth. I don't want to give you a fairy tale. I'm talking faith here. All of a sudden, when the pressure got up, hold on, wait a minute, I know somebody. Huh? When you can figure it out, it's somehow, when we can figure it out, it's easy for us to forget. That goes to the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker. I'm saying, like, when we think we got to figure it out, we forget how we got to where we are. But then when the pressure comes, and we can't figure, hold on, wait a minute. We can't figure it out. Hold on, wait a minute. I can't figure it out. It was somebody that helped me oh my God, I hope I didn't burn that bridge. I know somebody who can, And then Joseph's remembered, and Joseph's like, this is my version of it. Go ahead, partner, tell me your dream. Uh-huh. 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 Let me tell you what to do with that. And the thing that always blesses me about Joseph isn't the dream that God gave him. It was a dream that God allowed him to interpret. Because the dream that shifted his life wasn't his own. Or you hearing what I'm saying? The dream that shifted his life was not his own. Take that however you want to take it. It was the ability to look at somebody else's dream. Watch this. Not so that you could benefit from it, so that everybody could benefit from it. That's kingdom thinking. This is corporate consciousness I'm talking here. I'm not talking about thinking about yourself. If you're in this for yourself, oh my God, you're yet undelivered. And so it's always about me, and that's why we focus on that boy. Well, God meant what you meant for evil, God meant for my good. To do what? We focus on the my good instead of their good too. Say it's for their good too. And we going to flourish because we walking in forgiveness. God help my soul. We going to flourish because we walking in forgiveness around here. You the only one holding on to it. I'll let it go. I ain't even mad at you no more because you ain't going to hold me back like that. God help my soul. I'm not going to let what you did to me even hinder you. That's when you're healed, for real. The truth will set you free. The truth is, at some point, we need to recognize our experiences were purposed. Watch this. It was the origin story for our testimony. You wouldn't have a testimony without an origin story. The hero doesn't even make sense to us until we know his origin story. He got, Spider-Man is one my son likes to watch, right? And in the metaverse and all that good stuff, right? In the multiverse, that's what it is. Spider-Man in the multiverse. Well, Spider-Man couldn't be a superhero until he was bit first. Superman couldn't be a hero until, watch this, his whole world exploded. His whole, I know I'm talking, get the point. Okay, let's bring it back to Bible. Who would Joseph have been if he stayed with his father? If he never made it to the pit, he would have never made it to the palace. Okay. I know this is a weird place to praise. Somebody need to bless God that they made it to the pit. God help me. God, thank you. I made it to the pit. Oh God. Oh God. That's a different place to praise from. God, when they misuse me, I'ma bless you. How does Caesar say when they scandalize your name? Better bless them. I'm sorry, I love Caesar saying they scandalize your name. Like that's yeah. Perspective directs posture, ladies and gentlemen. At some point, we need to recognize our experiences with purpose. It was the origin story of our testimony. It was an obstacle meant to be overcome. It was an occasion to reset order and initiate optimal operations. The preview was purposed. What do you mean? The dream was purposed. The preview was purposed. Watch this. The plot was purposed. The pit was purposed. The purchase was purposed. We forgot about that part. Watch this. The price was purposed. The purchase was purposed. Potiphar's house was purpose. The prison, somebody say purpose. Palace, somebody say purpose. Now watch this, preachers. See how I didn't drive the palace home? Because that's what we drive home all the time. We drive home from the pit to the palace. Joseph didn't even drive that. And it happened to him. He said from the pit to the provision. Hold on, let me go back over here. From the pit to the provision, because God did this so that I could be a provider. What happens when God puts you in a pit? Are you waiting to get to the palace, or are you ready to be a provider? This is keeper speak, baby.
That's right.
We love the pit to the palace story. That ain't how the story even ends. You missing what was most crucial to Joseph, and it happened to him. We love to tell somebody, don't tell me my experience. Don't tell him his. He understands the purpose of what happened to him. I know they put me down, but God brought me out. God help me. The prison was purpose. The palace was purpose. Here's the thing. The provision was purpose. Because the plan of God was purposed. You didn't see the plan of God because all you got was a preview. And you went telling everybody your preview. Didn't you? And I want to dispel this one too. They say, don't go telling everybody your dreams like you knew they was going to deceive you. If you always knew who to speak to, nothing really would even happen to your life because you'd just be locked up, not speaking to nobody. Like he knew his brothers were going to put him in, he should have had discernment. For real? You so holy that you seen everything coming. The reason you church hurt right now because you didn't see it. You was going to church every week, but now you don't go no more because the folks in the church. You didn't see that one coming, did you? Forsake not the assembly of the saints. Do with that one what you want to. I don't care whether you gather somewhere. Oh, but that's the word, and we don't really like that. Because we want the palace. Come on, everybody. Come on, scoot on the palace. Come on, scoot. Shout. Huck and buck, pass out. Be slain in the spirit. Come on. We ought to have people running around in circles right now. Ah, palace. Ah, I'm going to the palace. I'm going to the palace. What happens when we get praised on? God put me in position to be a provider. God put me in position to be a provider. I know everybody that did wrong to me, but instead of punishing them with my absence, I'm going to bless them with my presence. I'm going to bless them with my provision because I know my provision was God-given. And I know my forgiveness was God-given. Watch this. The lens of purpose is a choice of focus. The lens of purpose is a choice of focus. Forgiveness instead of bitterness. Reconciliation instead of retaliation. Closeness instead of distance. Testimony instead of trauma. We can continue to talk about our trauma, or we can start talking about our testimony. We are not overcome by our trauma. We're not overcome by the blood of our trauma. No, that ain't how. We don't overcome by the trouble of our. Hold on, somebody help me with the verse. We don't overcome by the trouble that we've been through, the travail that we've been through. We overcome by the blood, our testimony. And your testimony had to have an origin story. What good is the testimony if there was no test? What good is the testimony if there was no trial? If you've always had it good, truth be told, we got an issue with people that always had it good, don't we? You done always had it good. We look at them crazy, right? You know why we look at them crazy? Because we don't like the favor on their life. Let me stop. See how that thing turned real quick? They always had it easy. Says you. You been through. And even if they've been through nothing, you ought to give God a praise. Give God a praise that somebody don't know what you've been through, because they might not have survived it. I will go out this far and say, I don't know if Joseph's brothers could have survived what happened to him. Because if they were willing to kill their brother, you don't think they was willing to kill the Ishmaelites that picked them up? You don't think they was willing to kill Potiphar? That, or we know, what's his name, Reuben? We know Reuben slept with his daddy's wife. Huh? You don't think he would have slept with Potiphar's wife? I didn't say he did. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there in the atmosphere. Do with it what you want to. He couldn't keep his hands off his father's stuff. You think he's going to keep his hands off of Potiphar's stuff? People, watch this. People can't go through what you've been through. But don't you lord yourself over them because of it. Don't you think yourself better because of it. That's the part that we don't teach. People couldn't go through what you went through. But can you be humble? Will you serve those who hurt you? Because that's the work of reconciliation. Serving those who hurt you. Serving those who hated you. Serving those who had evil intent against you. That's the work of reconciliation. That's our ministry. My own mind will put me down. Somebody say, nevertheless. Nevertheless, God positioned me for provision. Whatever God has brought you out of, he's put you in a position of provision. Because not only now do you have the testimony that he brought you out, you have the opportunity, you have now the means of which to provide for others. Receive this. Look through the lens of purpose. Look through the lens of purpose instead of the lens of your past. Instead of the lens of your pain. Instead of the lens of what they put you through. Look through the lens of purpose, because if you're not, you're going to see it a different way. Joseph could have looked at it another way, but when he thought back over his life and he looked back over his life and he thought things over. All of my bad days, all of my good days, they outweigh my bad days. All of my good days, they outweigh my bad days. Watch this. No matter how many days I was in the pit, one day in the palace overcame all that. No matter how many days I spent in Potiphar's house, one day in the palace overcame all that. But more important than what the palace did, it was the position that I was put in, the position of provision. Yes. I was put in a provision that by the mercy and the grace of God, many, not a little, say, I'm about to shift my whole generation. Not just mine. Not just my house. Their houses. Not just them, their children too. What is it like when you're in a position that not only can you provide for yourself, but you can provide for their children's children? But see, we just want to be in the position of the palace. We don't want to be in the seat of provision. We don't preach that part. We preach, you know how it goes. What the enemy meant for evil, what they meant for evil, God meant for my good. Keep reading. What was the purpose? What was the purpose of the good that God allowed to happen in your life? Because if you don't look at the good, you'll focus on the grief. The grief that folks put you through and you didn't earn it. You didn't merit it. It just happened. But can we look through the lens of provision instead of hunting for retaliation and revenge and punishing folks for our absence. They wasn't there for me. I'm not going to be there for them. But ain't you in a better position now? Have you matured at all? Do you want to do the real work of reconciliation? Where it upsets you when people are still thinking that they're unforgiving. That's the seat that Joseph sits in. It's upsetting to him. Hold on, y'all think that I ain't forgave y'all? Watch this. I forgave y'all before the transition. The transition didn't change anything. Don't let the transition change you in a negative way. It's going to have an effect on you. It's a trigger. It's going to have an effect on you. There's some stuff that's going to come up. It might not come up from you, but it might come up from others. Either which way it goes, will you be healed? Or will you keep holding it? The only way you can release it, look through the lens of purpose. Give God a praise right there.